Childhood obesity is a growing epidemic. In a world of convenience, children are just not getting enough exercise and good nutrition. In the past 20 years, the prevalence of obesity among children ages 6 to 11 has more than doubled and has more than tripled in adolescents ages 12 through 19. Today we have a few guests who are going to share their struggles with childhood obesity. But first, let me introduce you to Dr. Sharon DeCastro. She is a world-renowned doctor and author of the book Fighting Childhood Obesity. She is here today to talk about this growing epidemic. Her life's mission is to improve the future health of these young individuals. Welcome, Dr. Sharon DeCastro.
Thank you, Tyra. Thank you.
Welcome to the show.
Have a seat.
Please tell us about obesity in young people today.
Well, Tyra, obesity is really on the rise. Studies show that about 30% of kids ages 6 to 11 are overweight. 15% are classified as obese, and this is close to the same, but a little bit higher with adolescents. Young people today are just not getting the exercise that they need. In the past, it was common to see children playing outdoors, goofing around. A game of tag will last hours. Children would ride their bikes, but today, now with computers and video games and cell phones, children are staying indoors playing with each other in the virtual world. Not only that, but parents are afforded conveniences where at the touch of a button, they can complete tasks that in the past required the same degree of exercise. So the family as a whole is not moving as much.
Ooh, I love my internet. Facebook, that's my thing. So should I not be doing that?
Of course not. I would just say moderate is key.
So who or what is to blame?
Unfortunately, there are many factors. This includes hereditary, media tools, or tools of convenience. They all tend to lead to an overall decrease in physical activity and an increase in mindless snacking. Kids tend to not stop eating when they're full due to media distraction. But then again, there is a lack of physical activity unrelated to media as well, such as poor nutrition, large portion sizes, foods that are high in fat, sodium, and overall calorie content. And unlike adults, children do not know how to balance extra calories they have taken in.
And many families are living in this kind of on-the-go lifestyle, and they turn to fast foods for their meals.
Yep, that's absolutely right.
Well, Lauren, mother of 4-year-old Patty, has sent us a video because she's concerned she can't get her obese child's health back in line.
This is Patty. She's the love of my life. When I took her to the doctors about a year ago, the doctor told me that Patty was overweight and I did not believe him. I thought she was just a chubby little kid, as all kids are, and she would grow out of it. Since then, Patty has grown to 75 pounds, which is almost twice the weight of an average 4-year-old. I know something needs to change now, and I don't know where to start. I'm trying to cut down on her portion sizes, but Patty is just always hungry, and she'll sneak food when I'm not looking. I try to take the food away from her, but she'll cry just because she's hungry. I'm upset that I let it get this far, and I want all the help I can get to reverse this problem.
Isn't Patty just the sweetest? And it's a sad situation because there are a whole lot of parents out there that just have no idea that their children are overweight.
It really is. Studies show that most parents have a basic understanding of healthy eating habits, especially concerning avoiding too much sugar from juice and fat from fast food. However, only 1/2 of surveyed parents accurately judge their child's weight. Lauren's case is actually quite common. Many parents perceive their child's excess weight to be a temporary problem, one that their child will eventually outgrow.
But what about the warning from her doctor? Doesn't her doctor's orders hold any bearing?
They do, in fact, but before instructing parents about dietary and exercise regimens, clinicians must first verify that the parents know that they have a child with a weight problem and why they need to be on top of it. Parents can help prevent obesity in their children only if they feel motivated because they appreciate the health risks of obesity, know what to do because they understand healthy eating and exercise habits, and comprehend that their child is at risk because they recognize obesity when they see it. Obese children face an increased risk of cardiovascular disease, diabetes, asthma, and sleep apnea. There's also a risk for earlier puberty, neurological issues such as depression, orthopedic issues, and shorter lifespan, among other personal and societal effects. These children typically continue to have a weight problem through adulthood. Overall, parents generally do appreciate the risk of childhood obesity.
So, how would you determine if your child is overweight, especially in a society where obesity is becoming quite the norm?
You can't always determine it by what and how the child eats, but be concerned if they are eating too much fatty foods and also sugary foods as well. You may want to look at the types of foods they eat and make sure that they have a well-balanced diet with appropriate portion sizes, and there are many resources available that can help track that. You'll also want to check the size of their belly and their level of their physical activity.
What about using BMI as kind of an indicator of how healthy you are?
BMI, or body mass index, is a great way to get an estimate of health. It's an easy tool for parents to use because they can easily get their child's height and weight. It's non-invasive and it correlates with body fatness. There's a website from the government called mypyramid.gov, and it's a very good resource to go to for more information about BMI, health, and nutrition. Even with these tools, many children often fall through the cracks. Pediatricians are screening for obesity risk as early as 2 years old now. I believe it should be enforced that once someone is told that they are at risk for obese or is obese, they should be referred to and followed up with a dietitian. Pediatricians and other healthcare professionals need to facilitate parental awareness of obesity. They need to explain the growth chart, make comparisons on what is normal, ask for weight checks more frequently, and have an ongoing support and reinforcement in school and community policies.
Right, so what are some examples of how school and community policies affect these children?
Studies actually show that a child's choice of recess activities can affect a child's risk for obesity, and that better playgrounds can increase physical activity. Ensuring that there is a variety of fun and physically engaging recess activities available can help these children with a chance at better health. For example, when schools come up with frisbee activities, the children are throwing the frisbee around, but they're not really running after the frisbee, unlike soccer, where the children are constantly kicking the ball, moving around, chasing after it, so there's constant moving. With frisbees, you just kind of stand there and throw the frisbee around. So that's just kind of an example of how schools could really think about the physical activity involved in the activity, or the quality of the activity.
I don't know about you, but I like jump rope.
The unfortunate thing is funds to support physical education programs are, in many cases, not there. A lot of funding has been cut, and that's one of the places that they cut it at is physical education. Today's youth are considered the most inactive generation in history, caused in part by the reduction in school physical education programs and unavailable or unsafe community recreation facilities. There was a study in 2007 where 65% of high school students didn't meet any recommended levels of physical activity, and 70% of them didn't attend PE classes daily.
The Surgeon General's recommendation is actually 30 to 60 minutes of activity on all or most days of the week, right? How many of you out there in the audience already knew that? All right. So how many of you guys know that your children are getting enough exercise? See, look at those hands drop. As you can see, it's something we all need to work on.
Exactly. Parents need to be involved in obesity. Exactly. Parents need to be involved in obesity prevention and get their children into healthier habits now for a healthier life and future.
Jane is a 22-year-old who struggled at a young age with emotional eating and obesity. Here's her story.
I remember when I was a child, I would sneak extra servings of food when my mom wasn't looking. I would ask my mom for a cookie and would take 3 or 4 and hide them under the couch. By age 12, my doctor told me I was obese, but I didn't do anything about it. My parents didn't pay attention either. When I was in high school, I had a part-time job and spent all my money on bags of junk food. I don't know what was wrong with me. I was constantly hungry. High school was tough because I could hear people laughing at me and talking about me. I had no one to turn to, so I just kept eating. It did make me feel better. When I was frustrated, upset, tired, stressed, or bored, that's when I'd overeat. I used to go out with friends, but I ended up just staying at home, watching TV and eating. I just wanted to be at home alone with my food. Eating became a ritual. I would think about how good the food was going to be, and all through the process I would just feel good. Once it was over though, the feeling was gone, and I felt very down.
Wow, it's almost like Jane is having an emotional relationship with food. Do you see that a lot?
Yeah, I actually do. Jane developed what we call a relationship with food, and it is common. During the teenage years, the teenagers are full of emotional roller coasters, and each teen responds to it differently. Issues they face include peer pressure, high school drama, social issues. Unfortunately, instead of talking to their family and friends about their issues, some teens depend on food to make them feel better. Food can act like a drug. It has an addictive nature that comforts and improves their mood. High-fat and sugary foods are typical foods teens depend on. These foods can have an analgesic effect. They are high-caloric, highly palatable foods, which are the most problematic in terms of weight gain and obesity, and also have the strongest effect on alleviating negative mood states. So, it's important that once we notice this behavior, parents immediately intervene. They find out the cause of it, address it, and find out a way to solve it. The longer you wait, the harder it will be to correct the behavior. Then discuss why emotional eating is not a good way to solve their problems. A good way to do this is inform the teen about the effects of this kind of emotional eating behavior. Do they know what will happen if they continue to eat this way? Do they know what will happen to their bodies and their health? It can also affect them socially. This is an important point to make because teenagers during this time are so aware of their appearance and social acceptance. That's right. So Tyra, I just want to point something out. I just want parents to be aware of the risk factors of emotional eating. These include gender, which females are more at risk, personality and temperament, restrained eating, and genetics. The interesting thing about genetics is that there are studies showing that there is a hormone called dopamine that encourages rewarding behavior. Dopamine is a chemical messenger released by the brain that can increase motivation, produce pleasurable feelings, and therefore influence certain behaviors like eating. Sweet and fatty foods enhance the release of dopamine. So as long as you keep eating these foods, your body will release dopamine, which makes your body feel good, so you keep eating.
What's that dopamine, girl?
Yeah, that's right.
Thanks, Dr. DeCastro. It's very good to know all these risk factors. So with all the drama these kids are experiencing, how can parents communicate with them to prevent this emotional eating?
Obviously, the teenager is emotionally distraught, so it's important to address that issue. Parents who are really concerned about their child's well-being should open up their schedules and talk to them about their problems. Discuss the issues. Make sure that your child has the support they need, whether it be through you, an aunt, a friend, a cousin, someone that you know will help them through their problems. Make sure that they know that the school counselor can be a good resource as well.
We could go on for days about this topic, but unfortunately we're running out of time. Dr. DeCastro, thank you for your time.
No problem.
What is your take-home message for all the viewers out there that might be struggling with this same problem?
Thanks, Tyra. It's important that parents understand the causes of emotional eating and develop early intervention strategies based on this understanding. Identify the problem and solve it. Parents play a huge role in preventing obesity in children and adolescents.
Thanks again, Dr. DeCastro. Everyone stay fit, stay healthy, and we'll see you next time. Yay!
Overall calorie.
How many of you out there? Oh crap. We did it again.
Issues and shorter laughs. Oh, but there was saliva in my mouth. There's just way too much saliva there. I need to remember to swallow.
Am I?
What did you say?
That might be struggling. Everyone stay fit, stay healthy.
You look down. I look down. About their problems.